All right, President Biden on Thursday said that a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas would begin in under 2 hours, celebrating the development and pledging to continue U.S. diplomatic efforts. Biden credited the intense diplomatic engagement of his team, as well as the work of other parties in the region, including Egyptian officials, in bringing about the agreement for a ceasefire after fighting caused massive destruction and death in the region over the past week and a half. We have held intensive, high-level discussions hour by hour, literally with an aim of avoiding the sort of prolonged conflict we have seen in previous years when hostilities have broken out, Biden said in brief remarks from Cross Hall on Thursday evening that were hastily scheduled following news of a ceasefire agreement. I believe the Palestinians and Israelis equally deserve to live in safety and security and enjoy equal measures of freedom, prosperity, and democracy, Biden said. My administration will continue our quiet and relentless diplomacy towards that end. I believe we have a genuine opportunity to make progress, and I am committed to working toward it. Biden said that he spoke to Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, who informed him Israel had agreed to a mutual unconditional ceasefire to begin in less than 2 hours. Biden also said that Egyptians gave the U.S. assurances that Hamas and other militant groups would abide by the ceasefire. In the call with Netanyahu, Biden said that he reiterated U.S. support for Israel's right to defend itself from attacks from Hamas and other terror groups, and said that the U.S. would help replenish Israel's Iron Dome system, because of course we will. Biden also committed to working with the United Nations to provide humanitarian assistance to the Gaza reconstruction efforts, which he said the U.S. would do in full partnership with the Palestinian Authority, not Hamas, the authority, in a manner that does not permit Hamas to simply restock its nuclear arsenal. See, a line like that is him trying to insinuate that the Hamas is going to take the U.S. for fools and make them or get them to replenish their weaponry, even though Israel's the one that has all these advanced weapons, and we're doing a, $735 million arms sale with whatever. It's just, they what they say about Palestine, they can say about Israel, but they won't, because they have one side's, government up there behind. Biden did not answer a shouted question about whether he believed the ceasefire would last. Hours before Biden spoke from the White House, Israel's security cabinet voted to approve a ceasefire after 11 days of violence between the Israeli military and Hamas militants in the Gaza Strip. Where to begin with these remarks? Am I happy that he wants a ceasefire? Yes, because I know that doing that will result in less carnage. But what I really hate about his comments is that he has to see, he's trying to cater to both sides, because he knows that there's a growing segment of people like myself who are pro-Palestine. And he wants to trick us into thinking that what we saw and heard over the last couple of days did not occur. When he says the intense diplomatic engagement of his team, what does that even mean? What did his team do? The only thing I saw anyone from Biden's side do was his defense secretary say that the U.S. was giving Israel its ironclad support, if you remember that video. But that sounds like the remarks and rhetoric of a country that believes the Palestinians and the Israelis equally deserve to live in safety and security. We're going to pledge our ironclad support for one side, but we believe that both sides equally deserve to live in safety and security. Quiet and relentless diplomacy. It's like every time they talk, it's just word salad. Like he's patting himself on the back. Oh, look, it's this great job that my team did to make this not happen anymore. While also indicting the other side. We're going to work with the Palestine Authority to make sure that there's reconstruction and humanitarian assistance, and that the Hamas don't use us to restock their nuclear arsenal. Like the U.S. literally restocks the arsenal of Israel, and they're going to say he doesn't want this to happen with Hamas taking us for fools and using us to replenish their arsenal. So Israel can do it, and he won't call it out, but when the Hamas he alleges will do it, he can see into the future. And working with the United Nations to provide humanitarian assistance for the Gaza reconstruction efforts? How about your humanitarian assistance? I don't know, maybe not be selling weapons to the side that killed more people, that has more power, that initiated this conflict by kicking Palestinians out of their homes illegally and screwing with protesters that were peaceful. Someone needs to take the word humanitarian and just cross it out of the vocabulary of every American politician. At least all the Republicans that supported Israel blindly, all the Democrats that tried to keep this stupid, deadly arms sale going. Just a bunch of clowns who are so obsessed with protecting Netanyahu and his crooked apartheid state government as to call anyone who criticizes that government, which does not have a religion, anti-Semitic. It's like the most see, again, they use religion as a deflection from legitimate criticism of their human rights record, which is atrocious. So my president can pat himself on the back. I know what happened. Other people know what happened. And like I said, he only won the election because people were sick of Trump. You put somebody that people hated against a person that disappeared for a couple of years and gave some mealy-mouthed speeches, but never really took a side in anything. And now his way of taking a side is to say that he supports both sides equally while having his defense secretary pledge ironclad support for one side and accusing the other side of planning to take the U.S. for fools and replenish their nuclear arsenal when we literally do that to the side that he's claiming was defending itself after it initiated the conflict in the first place.